This system right here is exactly what's making us 18.5k a week. But the thing is that realistically, this is just an outcome of all the inputs that we've done. This is just a simple outcome. And when I say all the inputs that we've done, I'm talking about these things right here, booking 3 to 5 calls every single day, which is exactly what my setter Oscar is doing with my management. And you don't have to watch this video until the end. Honestly, I don't care. The thing is that every single day there are thousands and thousands of new coaches coming in, meaning that the competition is becoming real. And in fact, I'm sure that you're already one of the best coaches on the market, right? But yeah, the game is changing, and if you want to stay on top of all of them, and if you don't want to be broke in about 6 to 8 months, I would simply advise you to just implement these 4 simple principles at least on your own. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to sell you any 15 grand gay coaching program, because to be fair, I don't even run any. The main purpose is for you to get to the level where you feel that it actually makes most sense for you to delegate the workload and just double down on these things that this Airbnb coach, me and Oscar are working with, is doing. He's just focused on his content, building his personal brand, and shooting these ads out there. That's exactly what we're doing, which is exactly why this system is all about warm outbound. But here's the thing: when it comes to openers, you need to leave that incredible first impression by sending it. And like we already established, conditional language is key, but it needs to be super catchy. Your opener genuinely needs to be super catchy. Conditional language is good. I mean, we've covered it already in the previous video, but yeah, if you didn't watch it yet, go watch it, because yeah, conditional language just puts the pressure off of the prospects, such as possibly, might, maybe, oppose, those kinds of things. But what do I mean when I say super catchy? When we're running ads, all these ads are redirecting us to drop a follow to the certain person. He's calling out the audience. Then as soon as you drop a follow to that person, it's almost guaranteed that someone is gonna reach out to you with saying, yo, thanks for the follow, are you into business yourself, or you're just looking to do this? Yeah, pretty gay thing, I would say. So that's exactly what we're trying to do. To be fair, we're trying to increase our reply rate. Currently we're looking at like 20% or so. But yeah, a lot of people would be satisfied with it, but I'm not, because I know that my personal best is between 35 and 40%. And just take a look at this, for example. If we increase our opener just by 5%, just by 5 fucking percent, that's already, let's say, 25 out of 55 people. That's already like 3 to 4 new leads per day, meaning that on a weekly basis that's 25ish new leads, and on a monthly basis around 100 new leads. And I can already look at us not booking 3 calls, which is kinda not good right now per day, but generally looking at 6 to 8 bookings every single day, which ultimately just makes us more cash, right? But what I was saying about the opener, it needs to be super catchy. Something like, yo, you here for the vibes, lol, something super, super, super unique. Because your first impression is what you need to take care of. Your first impression needs to be incredible. Because why? Because your first impression is something that you're building the rest of the convo on top of. So you're literally gonna build on top of that first impression. That's how it goes. Because if your first impression is like, oh yeah, this guy's trying to sell me, he generally doesn't care about my situation, yeah, trust me, you're never gonna manage to land the deal, because you'll see in the next step exactly what I mean by that. First impression is, like I've said earlier, leaving a good first impression depends on your opener, if it's a super catchy, if it's a conditional language that puts the pressure off of the prospect, and obviously if the personal brand is good looking. Personal brand just needs to be on point, because you need to have an authority. You simply need to have an authority with that personal brand, because let's be real, whenever you reach out to someone, the first thing they're gonna check is your personal brand, your results, your day-to-day life, whatever. We just want to have that, I would say, credibility, because let's be real, personal brand or our social media channels nowadays are almost like a CV. That's like a window that people use to look through and see our lives, I would say, you know. And then when it comes to getting a reply, you know, before we proceed further, where we built on top of that, we managed to leave incredible first impression with using this super catchy opener. We need to make sure that we don't ask these geeky qualifying questions such as, okay, so why do you feel this would be good vehicle for you to get to goal, whatever the goal is. So have you actually tried anything else to get there? I mean, has that had any impact on you? No, because to be fair, that's probably the biggest red flag that you can possibly raise. And ultimately, guess what? It's not gonna take you anywhere. But your qualifiers need to be super spontaneous. So what do I mean by super spontaneous qualifiers? When I say super spontaneous qualifiers, first thing that I'm thinking of is something that I kinda developed, and I call it statement. I call it statement after question. And you use it to simply kinda back your question and justify your question on why did you actually ask it. You get me what I'm saying? So statement after question is something like, yo, by the way, let's say in a B2C, where from, what do you do for work? Oh yeah, I remember when I was doing a McDonald's, when I was working in a McDonald's, like it was draining as hell, you know. And not only that you're giving him a statement after question, building trust and being super genuine, like you're talking with one of your mates, but you're also slightly implying that with your help, you're literally planting the seeds right now, so you can see the fruits later down the line. You're planting the seeds that with you specifically, the person or the prospect can also quit their 9 to 5, you know. Or if you're in a B2B, that would be like, oh yeah, I remember when I was only looking at 10K a month, you know. I was a slave of my own business. Good old days, you know, something super spontaneous. And then you just throw a random question in there. Not one of these things that I mentioned earlier, but generally one of these random questions that you backed up with a statement. And it's called green flag qualifiers. That's also something I've developed because you obviously don't want to raise any red flags, right? So green flag qualifiers. Why green flag? Because in this part of the convo where you're just building a rapport, digging deeper, qualifying the person, it's so easy to get left unseen. It's simply because our reality is kind of sad right now, and it's simply that our attention spans are super short. We all have short attention spans due to TikTok, due to reels, whatever. So yeah, if we don't see the value in anything, in that specific thing, we're just gonna leave the person unseen or leave him undelivered, because we feel that time is money, you know, especially for B2B guys. Time is money, let's be real. So you need to just be super conversational and super understanding. And like I've said here, how do you actually do that? How do you actually do that? You need to spark their interest with the help of ACA formula. Yeah, we already covered that in the previous video, but let's do it again, because like Alex Formosi said, the key is in basics, right? You want to be a master at basics because that's how you kind of separate yourself from all the other guys out there. So acknowledge it. Whenever someone gives you a question or gives you an answer to your question, you need to acknowledge it. Bro, that sounds super sick. It actually reminds me of someone who is in the same position. So yeah, he also had this incredible type of mindset. And you not only acknowledged it, but you also gave him a compliment by saying that specific line, you know, and then proceed with asking another question that will bring you one step closer to the ultimate goal, which is to book that call, make that no-brainer call proposal that I'm gonna dive into later. So yeah, once you're being that conversational, once you're being just genuine, light-hearted and stuff, you're sparking their interest. You're just giving them a spark in their interest. And I'm gonna explain exactly why I did put this picture right here. Because there is this thing that people kinda struggle with. I wouldn't say even struggle with, because after all this entire sales game is like psychology. You know, you're just being a psychologist, I would say. You're literally being a psychologist. And since it's in human nature, that's just how it is, for us to constantly imagine ourselves in a different position. If you're making 10K a month, you're gonna imagine that you're that you're at like 20k a month, 50k a month, whatever. When you go there, you're gonna imagine yourself you're at 100k a month, and so on and so on. And by you being spontaneous and using this ACA formula right here, acknowledge, compliment, ask, and by you obviously planting these seeds in their minds, planting the seeds, I would say, in their minds, you're just doing exactly that. You're indirectly making them think about something that I call future pleasure. It's called future pleasure. Now, they can obviously think about future pleasure, such as, oh, I imagine myself going from A to B, or they can imagine a future pain. That's something like this video right here, because I'm honestly trying to make you aware that, like I said earlier, there are thousands of new coaches coming in every day, and if you want to stay on top of all them in 0.1%, you just need to change your game. Obviously, if you don't want to stay broke in the next 6 to 8 months, right? So that can be the future pain. And you need to be there making them realize that you're the only guy in the world who can just help them solve that, you know? And that's exactly how you spark their interest. And one amazing thing would be if you have a VSL the same way we do it. You see this matchbox right here, and you see this brownish part where you just drag your matches across, and then the fire starts. You lighten the fire, you know, and that's pretty much it. You sparking the interest. You need to be this thing right here, this brownish thing, you know. And I would say that you just need to make a no-brainer VSL proposal. You just need to make a no-brainer VSL proposal for their specific situation. That's how you lighten up the spark. That's just how you see the spark in their interest. And what is it even that I mean when I say no-brainer? Well, no-brainer proposal means that when you're being spontaneous, when you're just having a call with people, and yeah, the truth is that it takes you longer. You know, it generally takes you longer to do that, but like, if you ask me, I would generally do it for $5,000 a deal, right? The same way Ashley, my Airbnb client, is doing. You know, his price point is either $5,000 or 3.5k. So yeah, I would generally exchange 3 to 4 more messages across every prospect to just kind of guarantee myself that I'm gonna close that deal. But yeah, this is how to make a no-brainer proposal. When you're being spontaneous, when you're extracting their goals, so yeah, it can either be goal, let's say a desire, since we already mentioned that one, or pain. Pain is also something that I mentioned earlier. Those things, I consider them tangible. I consider these things tangible. Why? Because you can literally almost feel them in your hands, and then you can use it to attach it to the call to action. Call to action is a super important thing. You just attach it to the call to action, and you make that no-brainer VSL proposal. For example, oh, I actually have a quick video explaining more about how you might be able to reach the goal, reach the desire, solve the pain. Would it be useful if I sent it over so you can just possibly see if it's something that would be useful to you? You know, also you can see me using that conditional language I'm constantly talking about. Conditional language, just to put the pressure off of the prospect. And you're just slightly implying that idea. Once again, you're just planting the seed, because remember, it's all psychology. Honestly, it's just all psychology. And then once you do that, due to these fucking short attention spans, you know, that's honestly the reason why I need to light up the spark, because like I said earlier, people just can't be bothered. They're gonna leave you unseen. They're gonna, you know, want to get the fuck out of your DMs, and that's it. You lost the lead. You literally start chasing people. You don't want to do that. All those people that are proposing a VSL by being too generous, such as, oh, just recently I recorded a video, I can send it your way if you want it. No, that's too transparent. Everyone can see it. And then they're gonna probably, the prospect is generally gonna be polite. He's gonna be like, yeah, sure. Yeah, shoot it my way. Yeah, thanks for that. Whatever. And then you'll be like, yo, did you manage to give it a watch by any chance? You're chasing the prospect. You are obviously losing that very desired authority. You're obviously losing trust as well, because you're being super desperate, and that never turns out good. You're losing all of these things, which is generally never a good thing. But if you do these few things, make a no-brainer VSL proposal, use this tangible thing to attach it to the call to action plus conditional language, send it the prospect's way, they're generally gonna be looking forward to seeing it. Why? Because they just need to benefit from it. The same way people need to benefit from the call. The same way they need to see a direct value in it, like I've said right here. Direct value needs to be there. It's absolutely the same in the VSLs. Let's say the VSL is 10-15 minutes long. Why would I watch it if it's just gonna be a waste of time, right? And then when they watch it, you're proceeding to these ready to buy bookings. Obviously, that's the main goal right here. I mean, you can see the percentage. Like I've said, yeah, we can definitely improve our reply rate, but out of 15 people that we handled for that specific day, we proposed 7 calls, which is 45% call proposal rate, and then we booked 5 people in, which is 30% booking rate. Like, what the actual fuck? Yeah, it generally sounds mad. Yeah, right here, it is kinda low, kinda, maybe 27%, 25%, don't know the math, but that's the thing. I would rather book these ready to buy people than some silly guys that are never gonna close, because obviously it's just a waste of time. And then with your closing skills, with the no-brainer offer, it's just an easy close. It's inevitable. Out of 5 ready to buy bookings, I mean, I'm sure you can close at least 3 of them. But how to actually make that no-brainer proposal? You can realize that I'm all about making it a no-brainer, because truly that's what it's all about. We're all tired of these people being too generous, and there's always a question like, yo, let's just get straight to the point, what's in it for you? That's how it goes. But how to actually make a no-brainer? First, you need to name drop someone, and I'm going to explain why. When you're talking with the prospect, you obviously don't have to talk with him for too long, because dragging the call for too long is never good. You're just losing your time. You're just dragging it for too long, in the sense of, you're gonna get from 5 minutes between the replies to 10 minutes between the replies to a day between the replies to being left on delivery forever. But yeah, you just need to sense where an actual call proposal can be done, I would say. Oh, you know what? I can actually give you a few pointers, because your current situation reminds me of X person. This is exactly how I'm proposing the calls. Naming X person is already a credibility in your prospects books, because obviously you wouldn't name drop him for no reason, because the prospect knows that you're name dropping the person, and if the guy wants to talk with that specific person you name drop, you're obviously gonna give it to him, and they can talk. So yeah, I can give you a few pointers, because how he actually managed to get better return on ad spend. Just a few example. I don't know, something silly. But the most important thing is that you're giving value. So the way he managed to get a better return on ad spend was because he started shooting his videos in a different environment. You're just once again planting the seeds. You're using that psychology. Plant the seed, free value. And then at the end, you know what? The worst case scenario, if you don't like the idea of us going into this together, I can just show you all the ins and outs of how, once again, X person, that X person that you already name drop, I can just give you all the ins and outs of how Chris managed to get there, so you can go out there and do it on your own. And this is a no-brainer offer, because there's no pressure whatsoever. They're seeing a direct value, because like you said in that proposal, the worst case scenario, if the person doesn't want to go through with this together, with you in your coaching program, with you as a mentor, whatever, you can just give him all the ins and outs that let's say in this case, Chris guy did, so that person can go out there and do it on its own, right? That's a no-brainer proposal. And in 99.9% of the cases, you're gonna be like, yeah, bro, I'm down for it. Because that's exactly what we're doing. And you can see our booking to proposals rate. Right here, it's literally 100%. 3 people calls proposed, 3 people booked in. Then here, 7 people call proposed, 5 people booked in. That's like, what? I would say 70% or so. 70%. Incredible. You just want to be effective. You just want to be efficient. You don't want to waste your own time. Because why would you waste your time on talking with these people in the DMs, let alone talking with them or booking them in for a closer, if you're not a closer, of course. You know, you just need to provide value. Just provide value and you'll see an immediate difference. And obviously, you'll see how the outcome of all these inputs, once you take care of it, will be 5-figure weeks. And then, if you feel like it's the right time for you to delegate the workload, we can just do it, because like I've said earlier and in all the other videos pretty much, I'm never gonna sell you how I make money is off of the revenue share that I generate or that the business cash collects under my management. And yeah, it needs to make sense for all of us, right? So yeah, implement these few principles. I know it's basics, but like Alex Hormozy said, that's the key. The key is in basics. That's how you excel, and that's how you just become that 0.001% of the industry. Make sure that you're building first impression, building on top of that as well, spontaneously qualifying the people, because you don't want to get left on scene. Time waste immediately. Time is money, right? Short attention spans. Trust me, it's all about psychology. You don't want to trigger their attention, because yeah, you're obviously gonna get left on scene. And make sure that you extract these future pleasures and future pain, so you don't have to chase people. You generally don't want that, because why would you want to lose your authority and trust? And make these no-brainer VSL and no-brainer call proposals by using their goals, desires, and pain points. Goal, desire, pain. That's as tangible as something can get. You can literally go and take it out there, attach it to the call to action, use the conditional language, plant the seeds, and obviously book that call, because once again, guess what? It's a no-brainer. Name drop people, give them free value, use that conditional language, and yeah, you'll definitely see an immediate difference. If you feel this video was helpful, I would generally appreciate the subscribe. If not, thanks for watching anyways. You can reach out to me on my IG if you have any extra things you might wanted to ask me. But yeah, thanks for watching and keep smashing it.